Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be doing the mid-year book tag. I've seen it circulating around BookTube and I was like, you know what, this looks kind of fun to do, and I've been really enjoying watching other people's ones, so I want to do it. No one tagged me, I tagged myself. And I tag anyone who wants to do it to do it. So we've got 10 questions. I wrote my answers in my little journal, but I'm gonna be doing 10 additional questions. I watched Katie Wittrick do it and she added, I think, 8 questions of her own. So I wanna do those questions as well. And then I think I also have 2 questions I wanna add myself, just because I think they'll be quite funny to share. Not funny, but I like to hear these things from people. So anyways, we will get into it. The first question is, best book you've read so far in 2024. Can I do a series? I'm gonna do a series, but if I was to choose the book, I'm gonna do a series. So guys, if you've watched my channel, you probably already know what the series is, and it is the Infernal Devices series by Cassandra Clare. I deeply love this series and I'm so late on the bandwagon. This was popular 10 years ago, the OG of BookTube, so I'm very late to the bandwagon, but I absolutely loved it. I actually owned the first book when it came out like 10 whatever years ago, and they don't do these covers anymore, so then when I picked up the second and the third book, it's the updated covers, so they don't match, which is kind of annoying, but oh well. And then the second question is the best sequel you've read so far in 2024. I haven't read a lot of great sequels, to be honest. I haven't read like a lot of sequels in general, but I think I'll probably say Clockwork Prince in the Infernal Devices series, or Good Girl Bad Blood by Holly Jackson. This is the second book in the Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Oh my god, the TV show is gonna come out, which is so exciting. But I really enjoyed this, so maybe this one. Yeah, just I haven't read a huge amount of sequels, to be quite honest, and a lot of them haven't been like my absolute favorite. So the third question is new releases you haven't read yet but want to. What are my answers? I can't read my own writing sometimes. I've got 3. One of them is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. Now I know that this is like a standalone romance in an interconnected sort of series, and I know I can read it by itself, but a lot of people have said it's so much better if you read, I think it's Part of Your World, then Yours Truly, and then Just for the Summer. So in order to get to Just for the Summer, which I've heard nothing but good things about, like I've heard no one say a bad thing about it, everyone's giving it like a 4 or 5 stars, so I'm so intrigued by it. I plan to read that soon. I just need to read the other ones first. The second new release I haven't read but I really want to is Crimson Moth. It's called Crimson Moth where I am, but I think in the States it's called Heartless Hunter. But anyways, I really want to read that. I've been bombarded by this book on my feed. Like just in the last couple of weeks, it came out of nowhere. It was like no one was speaking about it, and then everyone was speaking about this book and just saying amazing things about it. I am a little bit apprehensive because this is what happened with Fourth Wing, and then I didn't really love Fourth Wing, so anyways, I really want to read the Crimson Moth. It does sound really interesting. And then the third book that I want to read is Intermezzo by Sally Rooney. I am a Sally Rooney girly. I know a lot of people don't really like her writing because it's very character driven, like not a lot of plot. I love character driven stories, so that's no problem for me. Yeah, I really want to get around to reading that, and I hope I love it, because I love Normal People and Conversations with Friends, but I didn't really love Beautiful World, Where Are You? I wasn't really a big fan of that book. The fourth question is most anticipated release for the second half of the year. That is, A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston, who wrote The 7-Year Slip. The premise of A Novel Love Story just sounds so fascinating and so cute, and just sounds like such a good rom-com. But I know that her books aren't just rom-coms, they've got like depth to them, so I'm really looking forward to reading it, especially because I recently just read The 7-Year Slip and loved it. 5-star, absolutely loved it. So I'm really excited to read her new book coming out, because to be honest, it sounds even better. I don't know how she's gonna top this, to be honest, because I loved this, but the premise of her new book just sounds right up my alley, so I'm really looking forward to that. Fifth question is biggest surprise. I've got 2. One of them actually includes The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston, just because I'm not a big contemporary rom-com reader. It's just not really a genre that I enjoy a lot. It kind of bores me, if I'm honest, a lot of the times. But I picked this book up just because I've seen all the rave about it, and I was like, you know what, let me give it a go. Because sometimes you can be surprised, and boy am I glad that I picked this up, because I don't know if you can see, I tabbed it. I absolutely loved this book. Loved it. And it's kind of making me want to get into rom-com sort of books, but I'm being quite picky about them because I want to make sure they've got depth to them, which is why I really want to give Abby Jimenez a go, because people say her writing is kind of similar to Ashley Poston, so we will see. But yeah, this was a big surprise for me. And then another surprise is, where did I put the book? If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nolan. This is a YA romance, and it is a sad romance, but I thought it was going to be, I don't know, I can't explain it, but I think because it was YA, I thought it was going to be like fake sad. I don't know if that makes sense. You know when like a book is trying to be sad and have depth, but it's coming off kind of shallow? I don't know if that's just me. Sometimes I feel like that when a book is trying to be sad when it's not. I was very surprised. This is sad, and it was written really, really well, and I absolutely adored this book, like loved it. I gave it a 5-star, and I just did not see that coming, so I was very, very, very pleasantly surprised with this. 6th question is favorite new author, and this can be debut or new to you. My favorite new author is Cassandra Clare, of course. I love her books. I mean, I've only read one series. I have read the first City of Bones from the Mortal Instruments back when I was in high school, like 10 years ago, and I did enjoy it, but I just never like continued on with the series. But because she has such a huge catalog of books, like I'm gonna be starting the Last Hour series soon. I think there's another series that she's released that I really want to read, so I'm just excited that I've got like a lot of books to go from her, because I absolutely love her writing. I love that she starts off, you know what, let me show you an example. In the Infernal Devices series, she starts off each chapter with a poem, and she just has really amazing references. I feel like she does a lot of studying and like research for her books, and yeah, there's just always beautiful quotes and kind of poems at the beginning, and I just think she's an exquisite writer, so that's definitely a new favorite author for me. Number 7, newest fictional crush. That is gonna be, I've got 2. Yeah, I've got 2. One of them is William Herondale. You've probably heard this name before. It's quite a popular name amongst booktube. I do have a big crush on William Herondale. Then my second crush, I do have a bit of a book crush on Prince Carden from the Cruel Prince series. And I'm ashamed that I did. I got a crush on him like quite early on in the series, and I was like, this is kind of concerning. But yeah, I did have a bit of a crush on him. Okay, number 8, book that made you cry. You guys are gonna be so sick of me. Like the way I'm referencing this series in almost every question is a little bit annoying, but it's my truth. The book that made me cry is Clockwork Princess, which is the last book in the Infernal Devices series, specifically the epilogue. If you know, you know. It really, really made me cry, and I'm not someone that cries in books easily. I cry in movies easily, but in books, like it takes a lot for me to cry. I cried in A Little Life, but like if you've read that book, you know why. And I cried in Clockwork Princess. And I also cried, no, I've got a second book that made me cry. Wait a minute. I do have another book that made me cry, and that was The Storied Life of A.J. Thackeray by Gabrielle Zevin. This got me. There was a scene in the book towards the end that really got me. It was so human. Like it was so raw, so human, and it got me. It really did. So that made me cry, and Clockwork Princess. Number 9, book that made you happy. I'm probably gonna say The 7-Year Slip. This book brought me so much joy. I don't know why. It brought me a lot of joy. In this book, the main girl has lost her auntie, and I know that's very sad, but it would go back to like memories with her and her auntie, and her auntie was just like such a free spirit. She was such a big traveler. She loved making the most of life, just really enjoying life to the fullest, and every time it would like flash back to memories with her auntie, it really touched my heart and it made me very happy. Like, I don't know, it brought me a lot of joy and it really inspired me to live to the fullest. I don't know, I really, really enjoyed this book and I loved the scenes with her auntie. Even though they were sad, they made me happy. I don't know why. So I feel like I've skipped a question. I don't think I have. That's fine. Number 10, most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or received. This book came out last year, but I only received it this year. Mum bought it for me. It is A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber. I just think this book is so gorgeous. Like, are you kidding me? I really love it. I think it's so beautiful. The second book that I got this year that I think is just absolutely stunning is My Dark Romeo by Parker S. Huntington and LJ Shin. I just think everything about this is gorgeous. Excuse my ugly nail. Yeah, the Renaissance art, the pink font. I love it. I think it's so gorgeous. Number 11, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? Well, you will see. There's my TBR card. So I need to read all of those books. But if we're gonna be more specific, I need to read any book. Oh, this has gone kind of funny. I need to read any book by, I think her name is Kristen Hanna. She wrote Nightingale. I need to read any book by her because I think people are saying she's like a phenomenal author, so I want to give her a go. I need to read Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo, and I want to start and finish the Last Hour series by Cassandra Clare. You know, I've got a lot of books in my TBR that I need to read. So basically, whatever is on my TBR, I need to read that by the end of the year. And then I'm going to do Katie's questions. One of them is, what books do you want to reread this year? You know, I think I do want to reread the ACOTAR series at some point because it's been so long since I read it and I kind of want to experience that magic again. It was like the first sort of series that got me into fantasy romance, so I definitely want to reread that. Number 2 is favorite authors so far this year. Definitely Cassandra Clare, Evie Dunmore, historical romance. She's making me get into my historical romance era. And I've only read one book by her so far, and my friend is using that book. My friend is borrowing that book right now. But it's Before We Were Strangers by Renee Carlino. I really loved the writing style, so I really want to give her other books a go. So even though I've only read one book by her, I have a feeling she's going to become an author I really like. So we'll see. Number 3 is books you've been putting off. She really called me out there. She called me out. I've got 3 I've been really putting off for no reason. I don't know. We've got Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. We have Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Gamis, and House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas. I've really been putting this one off. Big time. Number 4 is a book that you enjoyed with mixed reviews. I think I'm gonna say A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber. This is the 3rd book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart. There was a hair in my mouth, sorry. This is the 3rd book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. And this is one that a lot of people felt kind of disappointed by. They really did not like how the story wrapped up. I do see where they're coming from with this. We didn't get enough of something. I'm not going to say what it is for spoiler reasons, but I absolutely loved it. I think I gave it a 4.25. Like, I ate this book up. I really, really, really enjoyed it. So I may be one of the people who enjoyed it a lot more than the others, but yeah, loved it. Number 5, a series you want to finish before the end of the year. Now, this is gonna shock some people who know how much I love Magnolia Parks, and I don't know why I haven't read this book yet. It came out in February. I need to read Magnolia Parks Into the Dark, which will conclude all of the Magnolia Parks and BJ books within the Magnolia Parks universe. And I really need to read that this year, but it deals with a topic. It's not even a topic that I really have a lot of experience with, but it makes me really sad, and I feel like the character is going through something really, really sad, and I know that when I read it, I'm gonna feel quite upset. and I'm not really in the mood for that right now. But I know that I will have to read it at some point this year because I love that story and I just love that universe. So I do want to get back into it. But yeah, that is my answer. Number 6, 5-star predictions for the year. Give me 2 seconds. There's probably quite a lot, but off the top of my head, the ones that I'm getting is Heartless by Marissa Meyer. I can't explain what it is, but like, I don't know, my gut is connected to this book and I'm getting the vibe I'm gonna give it a 5-star. I can't explain it. But I just have that feeling. This is the story of the Queen of Hearts before she became the Queen of Hearts. If you don't know, the Queen of Hearts is the villain in Alice in Wonderland, and yeah, this is her story before she became that villain and what kind of made her become a villain. So it is a villain origin story. You guys already know I love villain origin stories because I'm like, what happened? What happened for you to become like that? It fascinates me. It says, long before she was the terror of Wonderland, the infamous Queen of Hearts. Huh? I read that wrong. I didn't look at the punctuation properly. Let's redo that. Long before she was the terror of Wonderland, the infamous Queen of Hearts was just a girl who wanted to fall in love. What happened? We'll find out, but I have a feeling I'm gonna give that 5 stars. We'll see. And then the other book that I have a feeling I'm gonna give 5 stars is Crooked Kingdom, which is the second book in the Six of Crows duology. Number 7, do you think you'll reach your reading goal and are you gonna change it? I actually don't set myself any numbers to read. I don't start off the year being like, I wanna read 50 books, 100 books. I just don't do that. Personally, I don't like, when I make something I really enjoy, like a hobby, more challenging or more like goal oriented, it takes away the enjoyment for me. Let's say I really want to read 100 books a year and then I get to December and I've got like 10 books left. I don't want to like cram 10 books in just for the sake of ticking that number off. Do you know what I mean? I don't have a reading goal like that, but what my reading goal is just to read as many books that I really enjoy. It's as simple as that. I just want to read books that I'm like genuinely having a good time reading, whether I'm loving the writing, whether I'm loving the characters, the plot, just my reading experience with it. I just want to have a good time reading. So that is my answer. Number 8, any new goals for the rest of the year? Yes, I do have some new goals, and well, I know I just said I didn't have any goals. One of my new goals is to branch out a little bit more. I definitely stick within the fantasy romance realm and within literary fiction and then general fiction. Those are my sort of comfortable genres I really enjoy reading. A lot of times I do dabble in like thrillers and mysteries and then like kind of magical realism. I'm gonna try to branch out. Like I said, I'm gonna give some more rom-com books a go. I do want to read a couple of like memoirs or autobiographies. Which I get confused. Is autobiography where someone writes it for you and biography is the one where you write it yourself? I want to read ones where they wrote it themselves. I want to read the Matthew McConaughey one, and I want to dabble in sci-fi. I don't know if it's my genre, but I really want to read Project Hail Mary by Andrew. No, not Andrew. Is it Andrew? Andrew Weir? I want to read that book. So yeah, just kind of branch out and try some new different sort of genres and just dip my toes in them because you do just never know. That's it for the questions, but I do want to add just 2 questions of my own. One of them is, which books did you DNF this year? I do have 2. So it is Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. I think I was like 160 pages into this book and then I was like, no. Not for me. So I did DNF Icebreaker by Hannah Grace, and then I did DNF a second book, and this kind of goes into my second question, which is, which book this year disappointed you the most? Like, which one did you have high hopes for and it just completely let you down? Mine is The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. I really thought I was gonna love this book. It's fantasy romance. It was getting so much hype. People were saying if you loved the ACOTAR series, you are going to absolutely love this book. And I was like, say no more. Take my money. Say no more. I I did DNF it. I did get about almost halfway through and DNF it because, yeah, I really did not like it. I did not like the writing, and I also did not like the plot. I thought the plot was so predictable. I was really guessing things. I was like, this is disappointing. So I'm a little bit sad by that because I had very high hopes for this. I thought I was gonna really love this as like a fantasy romance, but yeah, it let me down and I DNF'd it. So that's that. Yeah, that is it. That concludes it. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to do this book tag, be my guest. I tag whoever wants to do it. Thank you so much for watching. Bye guys.